Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Dangle, Bet, Celly right here on FTN. Chris Meaney, Eric Young here with you for the next 30 or 40 minutes, breaking down a busy night in the NHL. 11 games on the schedule. Geez, we're going to have the Kraken play 5 games before the Bruins play 2 games, Eric. I don't know what's going on with that schedule, but here we are on this Tuesday. How are you, good sir?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Hockey is back. I mean, instantly go from having some spare time to no spare time because, as you know, I have to watch every game. I was up till about 2:30 watching Leafs and Rangers that I recorded last night. The fantasy psycho is in full effect, buddy. We need DraftKings to get on and get some shot props up here for us to talk about. People north of the border, they're taking care of the business. We're armed with cash and other people's wallets, and we're going to battle. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. We are going to roll through these games, 11 of them, some of them quicker than others, but we will roll through some shot props too. And we'll just kind of recap at the end of the show what our favorite picks is, because I know it can be confusing. We're throwing out picks throughout every single game, and at the end we'll just recap with our favorite picks. There's a couple of things I want to talk about off the top. Some people are asking, where do they get the shot props? This show, for one, every Tuesday and Thursday, we're now available on iTunes, Spotify, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. And we just would like a solid from you. If you could rate, review, subscribe, you could show us that you're subscribed, especially if you're listening on iTunes. If you can just give us a 5-star rating and maybe leave a comment there. Heck, we'll take 4. We'll take 4.5. I'm not greedy here. It doesn't have to be 5. Just give us a couple stars. Screenshot over to us. You can send it DM or you can email it over to me. meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. DMs are open though, so if you just show us that you're subscribed to this podcast, you can also watch at ftnbets.com afterwards. It's going to be up on our website. It's in our Discord channel, putting it in there now, so if you're not catching it live, you're catching it a little bit later on in the day, you can always re-watch it at ftnbets.com or our YouTube page. But for those who wanted it, available Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Show us that you've subscribed, you've rated, you've left us a 3, 5 stars, whatever it is, and we're gonna put your name into a draw and hook you up with. We'll put you into a draw, and we're gonna give away a couple betting packages. I'm gonna give away a couple betting packages on this show, probably Thursday, but we can give it a couple days for people to listen, watch, for people hopefully to find this show, and an opportunity for you to get in there. So I'm just seeing, Eric, people are, where can get the picks? Like FTNBets.com every single day. Mean Streets is a free show every day as well. Producer Tino running the show for us here today runs that show for me every day at 12 Eastern. Monday to Friday. And yesterday was finally a good day. It's been hit or miss, Eric, with the hockey. Sometimes, last year we went through a bit of a feel it out process with some of these new teams. Good on you. You called the Kings in the last episode, but yesterday was good. We had the Flames and Seattle under. We had Seattle or St. Louis. We had St. Louis on the puck line. We had Tkachuk over 2.5 shots. Cam Atkinson, Zibanejad over 2.5 shots. So it was finally, a pretty strong day over at FTN. But if you are looking to be part of the FTN family, NHL is the promo code for you, 20% off. Most promo codes are 10% off. Josh Klotchy says this won't last long. It's 20% off. And the people that have reached out last night saying they just want the NHL bets, no fantasy, you can just do that by visiting ftnbets.com/pricing. But there's no NHL only package. It's something better. We have a full-on sports package, which will get you every bet across every sport, all the betting tools, all the betting shows, the Discord channel. So it's not just hockey. You're going to get every single sport over the end. We have a lot of sharp guys. So check out ftnbets.com/pricing. You can get a monthly package as well. Hang out with us for a month, see if it's worth your while, and then you can re-up if you want. NHL is the promo code. Please subscribe, rate, review, and show us that, and we'll put your name into a draw to give away some packages. Should we get after it? There's a couple big news items to start since we've chatted last. I mean, Pacioretty fractured his foot. He's out about 6 weeks. Don't know the status of Mark Stone. Saw they had a practice the other day with just their healthy players, and they had 6 forwards and a couple D. And then Nikita Kucherov.
Pretty early in the year for something like that.
Right.
That's crazy.
And now Nikita Kucherov, who missed all of last season in the regular season, placed on long-term IR, is now probably going to be on long-term IR again. I don't know if it's official that he needs groin surgery or not, Eric, but man, Tampa didn't eat him last year. We talked in the show last week about a potential, dip in production from the Bolts, missing that entire third line and some other pieces. they need him this year, in my opinion. They're gonna be hurting without him, I think, for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Stamkos is not the same player. They're not the same team as they were last year. And the reality is, in the last 3 years, they've played a lot of hockey, and it's starting to show up. It's starting to wear them down. Kucherov is the guy that I have in our salary cap league, my most important player. I've got him all over the place because I think he's one of the top 5 players in the league. If I was like the second or third pick, I took Kucherov. So I'm in a bad way with him out of the lineup. Tampa Bay is going to miss him big time. And it sucks. I did see a hilarious thing on Twitter, though, where it was Tampa's GM smiling because he knows he can put Kucherov on IR and now sign Jack Eichel and have them both back for the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the rich get richer.
A wily bunch there in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, according to reports, Eichel's been traded like 3 or 4 times. Like the trade has been pretty close when it comes to Jack Eichel. And yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time. His days in Buffalo are definitely numbered. Okay, let's get after it, dude. Let's not waste any more time. There's a lot here, but I think the biggest takeaway here with the whole Patch Ready thing is there's an article over at ftnfantasy.com breaking down waiver wire pickups, back-to-back streams, things that we talked about on Thursday, attacking the schedule. The Wednesday, Friday, Sunday schedule. Vegas is not in action tonight. I'm going to be honest. It's hard to keep up with 11 games here. Like, it just kind of smacks you in the face. Vegas is not in action, but Evgeny Dadonov is going to be the guy I think that benefits the most from, Patch already missing some time. He's going to get inside the top 6 here. And, he's a proven goal scorer. Last year was a little weird for him in Ottawa, but now he's on a really good team in Vegas. He's probably going to play alongside Mark Stone or Chandler Stevenson. That would be my guess, that they keep, Carlson, Riley Smith, and Marchessault together. So, extra ice time here for Dadonov. If you miss Pacioretty, you put him on the IR plus, and then you pick up Dadonov, and hopefully you can get, half the production that Pacioretty would have given you, because he's an absolute beast. All right, so let's get after it. Let's start here with the first game. I got the odds. I wrote down the odds late last night. Of course, they can change, but use the free prop shop parlay calculator over at FTN Bets to get the best possible odds. So we got the Canucks here minus 132 at Buffalo, plus 120 on home ice here. The total's at 6. I like Vancouver here. I think it's pretty decent odds, at minus 132 against the Sabres team, who has looked pretty good to start the season. But I'm in on Vancouver here. From a shot prop standpoint, I don't really think I like anyone. If I had to choose, it would be Elias Pettersson. He's $7K on DK, so he's pretty expensive. We have seen the Canucks juggle a couple dudes in the top 6. Plug Colson the other day started on the top line with Pettersson. He's 2.5 on DraftKings, but he was quickly taken off that top line. He did score a goal, though, against the Flyers, so he does have 1 goal to start. But for the rookie, he's not really playing a lot of ice. Like, he's not getting a lot of ice time. 7 minutes, 9.5. It's like nothing really to get excited about. But for Elias Pettersson, if I do see him at 2.5, a plus money, I will get involved in that. He has a couple games here so far, 6 shots, and just the 1 shot against the Red Wings. But the shot attempts were there for Pettersson. He just wasn't hitting the net. Are you in on Vancouver? Is this a stay away? Do you like the Sabres as home dogs here? What do you think?
Yeah, Buffalo has, surprised me. I think it surprised a lot of people, but I don't trust their goaltending at all. I don't trust that blue line. So, yeah, I would definitely be on Vancouver here with that number. Pettersson at that price for DK. But, for me, he is the offense here. He's going to get hot. It's just, finding the right time to get him. And Vancouver is definitely like Chicago. It's like one of those teams where it's just like, the lines are in a blender every night. You just kind of never know what's going to go on. So it's really tough to use them in DFS because you're trying to stack guys and you don't know who's going to play together. Daily Faceoff may have it labeled that Buck Hosen's going to play with Pettersson, and by the third shift, he's down to the third line and somebody else is on the wing. So it's really tough. I try to stay away from both Vancouver and Chicago, a couple other teams that are kind of constantly messing with their lineups. I get the idea of it, but it makes it hard to stack guys and use in DFS.
Yeah. So as you said off the top, like DraftKings, last year when we did a fantasy hockey show and betting show, like DraftKings is all over it in terms of shot props. I'm seeing nothing. I don't get it. I'm seeing Seattle and New Jersey, Calle Yarncroc and Vince Dunn, who's hurt. So, I don't know what's going on there. But if you type into the prop shop, you're in the prop shop. You're gonna get it's going to populate for you. Like I said last week, it's the coolest thing. It's basically like Google search. You just type in a dude and away you go. I mean, I type in Elias Pettersson. I'm seeing 2.5 at -110 over at William Hill Caesars Sportsbook. Unibet. I don't know if anyone plays on Unibet, but +110 for 2.5 shots. Bet365, those north of the border. I mean, you can also Bet365, I think, in Jersey area. But north of the border, they may not have any NBA props up there, but they take care of all the hockey fans. They got a lot from just Vancouver and Buffalo. I mean, they got like 12 players. So, I mean, they're all over it here. Elias Pettersson at 2.5 is -120. So, like, that's not a bad price. Connor Garland's plus money at 2.5. Like, he is interesting in my opinion. Maybe not from a shot prop standpoint, from a DFS standpoint at 5.2. The lines as of right now are Pettersson, Höglander, and Miller. Like, that's the line that I would attack from a DFS standpoint. You're going to get Pettersson, Miller on the number one power play as well. And one more thing to add before we move on from this game is I don't know what's going on with DraftKings when it comes to Quinn Hughes' price. FanDuel's priced him appropriately, but he's super cheap at 5.2. He started at 4.8, 5.7, 5.1, and now he's 5.2. He's got points in 2 or 3 games. He's got 8 shots through 3 games as well. He drives the offense on the power play, so he is interesting. All right, let's move on. I think the biggest takeaway for me from that game is I like the Canucks. I think it's decent odds, even though they're on the road to beat a Buffalo team, and I like Elias Pettersson for 2.5 shots. All right, the next one here is San Jose and Montreal. The Canadians have, 3 goals here in 3 games. They're 0-3, the worst start since 95. Which goes to show, like, 0-3 is obviously as bad as it gets. But it's not awful. Like, we'll see what happens moving forward. But this is a team that typically starts strong, right? The 0-3, the first time since 95 is a long time here. They can't score any goals. And this is going to be the issue with them all year. It does sound like Mike Hoffman could return to the lineup, so maybe they can get an offensive boost here. But I'm kind of inclined to take the Sharks here on the road at +135, and I definitely, feel the under 6. Last show we said under in Montreal and Buffalo. We didn't get it. But the Canadians are not really showing me anything offensively, and I like Jake Allen. I don't think we'll see a lot of offense from the Sharks here. Where are you at in this game?
Yeah, I go Sharks too. Something interesting to keep an eye on. They don't have the starting goalies up yet. It's too early. But if Adin Hill plays, like you said, Montreal can't score. And Adin Hill has been, a pretty impressive backup, and now is kind of taking the starter's crease in San Jose there. He's a big dude, pretty athletic goalie, and I would imagine his price on DK is pretty affordable. So that's something to pay attention to here. I wonder how many of these guys have fake vaccination cards. Too soon.
Man, what is that all about? So, yeah, I mean,
he's a nightmare.
Does he play again in the NHL? Does he play again in the NHL?
He probably. He's good enough. But when does this end? I mean, you got to grow up at some point, man. It's pathetic.
Well, they had the whole off-ice thing with, his wife taking to Instagram, basically calling him out, saying that he bet on hockey, he bet on his own team to lose, he bet against himself, all those, those significant allegations right there. He denied all of it, and then now recently, as of last night, suspended 21 games for a fake passport, which is really a federal crime. So I don't know. Does the FBI step in? I don't know. We'll see what happens with Evander Kane, but his teammates don't want him there. They've already talked about getting him out of town. They don't want to play with him. So who knows, man, if this guy is even going to be in the NHL moving forward. So kind of lean to the under. Adin Hill is 7.2. I get that call pretty, that's basically as cheap as it gets, right? You're not going to get any starting goalie in the NHL cheaper than that. I mean, our guy, Cal Peterson is 7-1. We'll see if he gets the start. He should get the start against your Preds here tonight. But that is, a decent little call there. I don't know, man. I don't think Montreal gets going on offense. Like I said, Hoffman expected to play here. He probably plays on the third line with Gallagher. Cole Caulfield is the guy for me, just from a shot prop standpoint. He's the only one. Trying to find actually Timo Meyer. Nothing on Timo Meyer. At 2.5 at -140. Put 8 pucks on net in the last game. Timo Meyer's okay. I got to put him on the short list here, Eric. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I say put him on the short list, man. He's a guy that I've been intrigued with. It's never really come to fruition. He's been, decently productive, but not. He hasn't turned into the player that a lot of people thought he was going to be a couple years ago. So at some point that could happen, but at this point it just looks like he's a middle of the road player. Big body, all the skill, but he just doesn't seem to be able to put it together.
No, he doesn't.
Does shoot the puck a lot though, and hit. So
I mean, he loves to shoot the puck, right? I mean, he really does like to shoot the puck. As I mentioned, he had 8 shots on goal in the first game of the season. He played 18 minutes. So this is the start of a 5-game road trip here for the Sharks. They're not a great team offensively, but neither is Montreal. So I think, the under between these two, I got to put this down here too. Montreal, San Jose, under 6. Like, I get on that now. It's probably going to creep down to 5.5 or something. It's nice to get that under 6 in there, just in case it is 6 and you get that push. I will give some love to a couple San Jose players who are playing in the top 6 here. I know I watched the game the other night. You probably did as well, when they played the Jets. It was so we had William Eklund, who really didn't do a whole lot in that game. I mean, he played 14 minutes, but he played on the power play. He did pick up an assist. He had 1 shot. He's getting some power play time. The assist was on the power play, and he's inside the top 6, which is really nice. It's a cheap dude. And then Jonathan Dahlin as well, inside the top 6, played 14 minutes, didn't do anything, didn't hit the score sheet, was a -1. But both of these guys are sub 3. Eklund is 2.9 and Dahlin is 2.8. So these guys could be sneaky if you're playing in tournaments, or maybe you just want to keep an eye on them in like deeper formats, keeper leagues, salary cap leagues that you and I are in over at Fantrax. Playing inside the top 6 with like a Couture or a Hurdle is very beneficial for their upside, because there's just the opportunity for playing time is wide open in San Jose. Yep. All right, Florida and Tampa. I already made this bet. I put it in the tracker. Florida's plus 135 here tonight against the Bolts at minus 125. The total is at 6.5. Yeah, dude, I am in on this. People who've been hanging out with us. We like the Panthers. We got futures on the Panthers to win the Cup. I got futures on them to win the division. Tampa Bay, we've already talked about it. And you know what? They have looked very mediocre to start. They came back against Detroit. It was a wild 7-6 game. But I don't mean to just hammer this point home over and over and over, but Gaudreau and Coleman and Barclay, it was what? Gord, Gaudreau, and Coleman. That's an entire line that's just gone. And now Nikita Kucherov. I'm in on Florida, man. I'm surprised that we can get him, even with Tampa being as good as they are. I'm surprised that we can get him at like nearly plus 40, Eric. Are you with me or what?
I'm with you. Yeah, for sure, man. I really like Florida here. It's Tampa Bay has got off to a slow start, like we said. Kucherov is this team. I mean, they'd have other good players for sure, but man, I just love the Florida team. I love betting on them. I like watching them play. They're going to make some noise this year, and tonight I think it's a good bet for them to win outright.
We probably won't see. Oh, it is Spencer Knight's confirmed. Interesting. I'm a little surprised, because not that. I didn't think he'd get in there soon, but Bobrovsky has won a couple games. Well, they're not on a back-to-back either. So he did win their first 2 games. I mean, he led in 4 goals in the first one, but he was strong against the Islanders. He stopped 29-30. So he is confirmed. He's locked in. We like the Panthers. Oh, wow. They're like plus 115 now. So when I put that in the bet tracker last night, it was plus 135. So that just goes to show you have FTN alerts. You're going to get that bet right away. You're in the Discord channel. You say, hey, you see the message. We're jumping on this now. Odds are going to change. Do you ride with anybody from a DFS standpoint here? Like, what do you think about the total 6.5? Do you think that's kind of high? I mean, both these teams are pretty high powered on offense.
It still is pretty high because, I mean, the goaltending is good. I mean, it still worries me when I see like each team's going to have to score 3 goals. That is worrisome. You don't see that very often. For me, I would hedge with just Florida winning here and then try to find. I like the Sam Bennett 2.5. He shoots the puck, and I'd be paying attention for DFS. Owen Tippett, he's been playing in the top 6, and I think he's due to put some points up.
Yeah, Bennett is 5'3". I mean, he's still underpriced. Actually, He's not 5'3". He is he's 4'5". That's Sam Reinhart. He's 4'5". I don't understand what's going on there. He came off a hat trick. He's our guy. I feel like he's our guy. Honestly, we talked about him and draft him. Play him in DFS, take his shot props. He had 3 shots in the first game. He had 6 in the last game. So he's checked the boxes for us in his first 2 games. 2.5 shots here is really nice. there's a lot of Florida players that you can get behind here tonight. I mean, Verhaeghe at plus 125 at 2.5. Owen Tippett, I think from a DFS standpoint, is interesting. Sam Reinhart, 2.5. Barkov, 2.5 is juiced to the over at minus 180. I think you just take Bennett and you move on. But Aaron Ekblad is as well at plus 110 at 2.5. We both really like this Florida team. Interesting to see what happens in Tampa. Like, there's probably some value that creeps up here. Like, Cirelli is 3.8. He's going to be cheap. He's going to get a little bit more ice time with Kucherov sideline. You're going to see Killorn at 4.5 get more ice time. Maybe even Corey Perry at 2.6 get more ice time. But I don't think tonight's the night to get involved with those guys. I think we just take Florida and we move on here. Speaking of moving on, we got the Kraken at plus 130 and the Devils here at minus 134. The total is at 6. So the Kraken got worked over last night. They continue here a lengthy road trip to start their first season in the NHL. Things haven't gone all that great for them. They did lose to Vegas. They beat your Preds. They lost to Columbus, and then they lost to Philly last night 6-1. I expect to see Chris Driedger get his first start for the Kraken here tonight. What do you make of this game?
Like Seattle's jerseys, they look really cool on the ice. Not so sure about the team yet. They still have a bunch of guys, like important players for them. Like we said earlier, Dunn is out. I don't know. Yarncroc might play tonight, but that's still up debatable. Yanni Gord, a guy that I love, still is out. So, they're not at full strength. I don't fully trust them. They got beat up pretty bad. And it kind of makes me sick to my stomach a little bit, but I kind of really like this New Jersey team. Does that make me crazy?
Yeah. No.
I like them a lot.
Yeah, I think you should. They got a lot of appealing players. They're certainly on the rise. There's no question about that. I know a lot of models across in the industry like them as like a playoff squad. I think they're going to knock on the door. The Islanders have looked pretty shaky, but I still think the Islanders are better than them. I still think Washington is better than them in this division. The Rangers I really like, but the Devils are going to be right there. It's the breakout season for Jack Hughes. I think a lot of people are waiting for this and expecting this season from Jack Hughes. He had a hell of a debut. He had 2 goals, 3 shots. He played 18 minutes. He had 21 fantasy points. He had a terrific overtime goal where I'm assuming you saw it. He just flicked a stick into the stands. It's pretty badass. He was really good last year. I think a lot of people weren't paying attention, but to me, his coming out party was last year, shortened season, no training camp. But he looked really good, especially near the end of the year. And I think this year, with him and a healthy Nico Hischier, Dougie Hamilton playing on the blue line, like this is going to be a good team. And they get Mackenzie Blackwood back, and he's the goalie he was last year. New Jersey was a terrible team, and Blackwood was still really good, and he was facing a ton of rubber last year and was still really, really good statistically. They get him back. They're going to make some noise, New Jersey. Remember I said that. No, I believe you. Bernier played well yesterday or in the debut. But Blackwood is the key. Obviously, if you've paid attention, there's been some vaccine. He's on the fence. Apparently, reports out of his camp say that he is going to get vaccinated, and then we'll see him on the ice because he's really good, and he could add another element to this team. So yeah, they're young. Their lines are tough, from a DFS standpoint. They don't really correlate well because the 5-on-5 guys, like their power play, for example, Zacha, Hischier, Tatar, Dougie Hamilton, Jack Hughes, and that's parts of like 3 lines there. Tatar plays on the 3rd line, Hischier plays on the 2nd, and then Jack Hughes plays on the 1st. So they kind of, it doesn't really correlate from a DFS standpoint. But the guys that I like here from a DFS standpoint where I think we can see the offense is Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton, who scored, I believe, in his 1st or 2nd shift with the Devils. He's super expensive at $7K, but he just logs so much ice time, 25.5 minutes he played in his debut, and he really just touches every category for you. 2 blocks, 3 shots, 3 hits. He was in the penalty box. He was +3. He scored a goal. So he is interesting. And also just sticking with this Devils team for a second, Sharon Govich is 4.9. I do like him, if you want to play him with Jack Hughes. I don't think there's anything else to add from that game, but we both seem to like the Devils, and they're on the rise. You can get them at minus 134. Dallas and Pittsburgh in here next. I really like the Stars team, despite them having a couple losses in a row. They lost to Boston over the weekend, and then they lost to Ottawa on Sunday. So the back-to-back losses. Now they're in Pittsburgh. The Penguins playing really good hockey with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. They're favored here on home ice, minus 129. The total's at 5.5. Go ahead, kick us off here. Do the Penguins continue this? We were on Dallas on the money line last week. We got them on the road. Do we go back to them? What do you think?
eventually I'm going to learn. I'm like the rat to the electrified cheese. I keep thinking that Pittsburgh is going to fall off, and their two best players aren't in the lineup, and Jeff Carter is the starting center, and they're going to get walked over, and they're just winning games and super competitive and beating everybody they play. So I'm done betting against the Pittsburgh Penguins, man. Sullivan's an unbelievable coach. Obviously, they've got a ton of guys. There's always the joke of Bonk and these made-up players that are somehow good, Lafferty and Bluger and people that nobody know. They're just good players. It's an unbelievable organization, and they just win hockey games, man. And with Dallas, like, I just don't know what's going on in net there. I don't trust that they know what's going on yet. I think Holtby started, pretty decent in his first game, but I don't know, man. Dallas is not a team that scores a ton. And Pittsburgh is just one of those teams that they figure out a way to win every night.
So I like Holtby. I've been impressed. He was a sleeper for me over at the FTN Fantasy and the Draft Guide. But you're right. I mean, what's Lehtinen, like what's going on? I mean, Lehtinen, Khudobin rather. Khudobin started the back-to-back, which I think is fine. But he came in against the Rangers and he had 6 saves there, and it was Holtby who started and looked great. The thing with Holtby, I think we talked about it last week, was just he was playing for a Vancouver team that they were awful. They had given up, they were inside the top 5 or 3 in high danger chances, scoring chances. Like there was no structure to their team. Now they've revamped their defense and I think they're a little bit better. But Dallas is like one of those stingy teams that just don't give up a whole lot. Like the quality of chances that they allow, it's not high. And I really like their defense. I think they're stout on the blue line. But Holtby at 7-3. I mean, Eric, he's been good to start. And from a fantasy standpoint, you look at Yahoo, like Khudobin has a double the ownership. If you have Khudobin, go ahead and make the swap and just get Holtby. I do believe Holtby's the starter. He's got a higher ceiling. I think he's younger. Khudobin's had some injuries over the past couple of years. He was great in the playoff run. They sent down Audiger because he doesn't have to clear waivers, so he won't be up until, he probably has the highest ceiling of the 3, but he won't be up until an injury happens. But for Holtby, from a fantasy standpoint, he's been solid. 25 of 27 saves, 37 of 39 against the Bruins. I think he's a sneaky, cheap little punt play at the position, but I don't think we'll see a lot of offense from here. But we do have to give a shout out to a guy that we've been pumping up a couple times, Danton Heinen. We talked about him in the opener. He's got a goal in 3 straight games. What's going on there?
Yeah, I can remember him playing. He started in Pittsburgh, and then he went over to Boston.
In Boston.
And they were hoping to have some offense from him, and it just kind of never transpired. But if you watched him play, like, it's clear he knows what he's doing. It's clear he can shoot the puck. And I think, getting a chance with guys injured and playing up in the top 6, and that gives you confidence. And right now he's playing with confidence. He's a good player. He's going to be on the ice, and they need other people to play because their 2 best players are hurt.
Yeah, they're super thin. So the top line is going to be Carter, Heinen, and Gensel. I don't expect Heinen to keep this up, but I've written him up as a value every time he's touched the ice. I probably will again tonight, but I do think that this is going to be a low-scoring game. Jeff Carter had 8 shots in one game and 0 in another, so I don't think he can really be trusted, but he's been the hot waiver wire pickup. He's looked really strong to start the season. He's going to continue to get a lot of ice time. I think Sidney Crosby is close to returning. Malkin is not. But a shout-out to Heinen, who's playing on that top line with Carter and Gensel. And one more shout-out here. I can't find Zucker. Even Bet365 does not have Zucker. Imagine that. But Zucker has been, Eric, at 1.5 shots at around minus 160. So it's a little bit juiced. But if you can find him and you want to put him into a 3 or 4 leg parlay at 1.5 shots, his first 3 games has been lots of shots, 4, 3, and 4. So again, a guy that's just getting a little bit of a larger role considering the lack of bodies that they're missing in Pittsburgh. So I put him on the short list, but he's not one of my favorites. You can get him in there at 1.5. Colorado and Washington, the Capitals at home here, minus 115. 6 is the total here, plus 108 for the Avs if you want to back them on the road. What I read yesterday was that McKinnon wasn't going to travel with the team, but now it looks like he's good to go here tonight. It looks like he's going to make his return. So if you are backing the Avs here this evening, I think, at plus money is a decent little... I know you're a big Colorado guy. At plus 105, you can get them live right now. Are you into that, or are you liking the Caps here at home?
I do like that. I'm actually scrolling, trying to find it right now on DraftKings so I can put my money where my mouth is. I like it a lot.
All right. So the Avs are your team. They're gonna be without Landeskog, right? One more game. I think this is gonna be the last game that he does miss.
Yep.
I think he was suspended 2 games, so they're gonna be without him. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get the pick. Colorado's really good. Anytime you can get the Avs plus money, I think you could. You should maybe jump on that opportunity. Ovechkin. I'm not going to talk about the goal record, but he did score another one. Ovechkin, 3.5 shots. I would take that. He's got 11 in his first 2 games, so 3.5. We got to put him on the short list. And McKinnon. I mean, we're not going to find him on the books right now. Yeah, not finding him. Ovechkin is 3.5. I'm seeing him. Rantanen's 3.5. Kadri's 2.5. I'm not seeing McKinnon, but I'd imagine McKinnon be at 3.5, and it'd probably be a lot like Austin Matthews. Matthews had 8 shots last night in his return. I think McKinnon probably puts 6 or 7 pucks on goal as well. Would you take McKinnon over 3.5? Like, you're on the Avs here. What are you doing? Are you playing? Rantanen? You playing McKinnon?
Yeah, definitely playing Rantanen. Definitely playing McKinnon. Like you said, I think he comes out and is firing the puck. I love watching this team. Kel McCarr's maybe my favorite player right now to watch. He just does stuff that nobody else is doing. Yeah, I mean, I like them both, and that's I mean, an expensive stack, but I think it's proven production from those guys.
Seen some comments here. My bad if you're following along with us on this Tuesday morning. We appreciate you. If you have any questions, reach out. We can get to it. I'll circle back on the YouTube page and also try to get to those questions before puck drop because we are coming at you a little bit early. There's goalies are not locked in. We're kind of guessing on which goalies are going to start. But we will have a lot of DFS content for you at ftndaily.com. You want to be part of the FTN fam. Again, NHL, that promo code gets you 20% off. And we got Russ's cheat sheets there. We have a question here about what's the link to the Discord channel. So if you have a betting package with us, you jump up to ftnbets.com. You could click the chat link up at the very top, and that should get you in our NHL Betting Discord channel. And same thing for DFS. You go to ftndaily.com, you click the chat link up at the top, it'll get you in our FTN DFS Discord channel. And also, if you do have the betting package, you'll be able to get into all the betting. We have channels for every single sport: tennis, esports, MLB, NBA, tipping off tonight, absolutely everything for you. So hopefully that helps the question out there, Akbar. So check out ftnbets.com and click that chat link. And we appreciate you, Casey, for the comments. I am far from the best. Eric Young is the best. We need to have some sort of wrestling segment with you. Like we did this before with The Athletic. We need to, on Thursday, come prepared with the must pick up, like a wrestling NHL promo of a dude that you need to pick up. So we got a couple days to get.
I'll start preparing. I'll start preparing now.
I see how psyched you are. Okay, Columbus and Detroit. Hey, Detroit hanging around. Bertuzzi, 4 goals in his first game. Keep in mind that a hot waiver wire pickup, but he's not going to play any games in Canada. Detroit has 4 games this week. One of them in Montreal. He's not getting the shot, so he's not going to play in Canada, right? He's not going to play in Canada. But Columbus looked pretty good the other night. Actually, you know what? Laine and Voracek look like they got something going on.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you think about it, is there a better player to put with Laine than Voracek? The guy is an apple monster, crazy vision, good at protecting the puck and holding the puck and getting the puck. And Laine knows how to be open and is maybe the best pure shooter other than Ovechkin in the entire league. I know he hasn't put it together in the last couple of years, but I'm a big believer in Laine this year. And the biggest reason is I think if they keep him paired with Voracek, it can only be good things for him. It's a veteran guy that you can see the chemistry already. Voracek is he's a machine at setting guys up and he's been good at it for years.
Yeah, he has been. So he's got 3 points in 2 games, Laine. I took him twice for the shot props. He had 0 shots against Arizona, even though they put up an 8 spot. I mean, the Coyotes are absolutely trash. That's something to keep in mind, guys. You're playing DFS. The opposing team is going to be pretty chalky, but I think you just have to do it and get unique, right? They're completely in rebuild. They allowed 8 goals in their first game. They allowed 7 last night to the Blues. But for Laine, he had 0 shots in that first game, and then he had 3 in the second. I think he's a guy that I probably need to stay away from in terms of shot props. It seems to be hit or miss with him. But at 5.8 on DraftKings, He is very interesting here. 14 minutes in his first game, 18 minutes in his second game. So he's off to a really strong start. He had a really good preseason as well. And Voracek is only 5K. You're right. He is a distributor. He's not a big volume shooter. That's something that I tend to stay away from in DFS. With 11 games on the slate, we don't need to get super unique here. But I think Voracek and Laine make for an interesting duo. But you will need Voracek to hit the score sheet a couple times because, like I said, he's a pass-first guy. And I really just like to attack volume shooters. He only has 2 shots here in the first 2 games, but he does have 2 assists. Bjorkstrad's a little expensive for my liking at 6-7 on DraftKings, but he is more of a volume shooter. He's got 2 goals and 4 points. A couple guys I want to just quickly before we move on, Zach Garenski is just like a usage monster with Seth Jones gone. He's going to get a lot of ice time. He's going to top power play time. He is interesting. And then Elvis Merzlikins is a guy that I played in every time he's played so far. He's won both of his starts, 27 fantasy points and 16 fantasy points. He is definitely in play at 7-7. We got to keep going here. We got to get out of here in 10 minutes. Man, there's a lot of games here this evening. Nothing from Detroit side. Domi had a good, strong first game, but he's going to be sidelined with a rib injury. All right, we got New York and Chicago, the Islanders. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of goals. I don't know what's going on with the Islanders, dude. It's only been 2 games, but just taking a look at the 5-5 numbers over at Natural Stat Trick, they are allowing a ton of rubber, a ton of high-quality chances, the most goals, expected goals. Ilya Sorokin has looked brutal to start. Marc-Andre Fleury has looked awful to start. He was pulled in the last game. Does this continue? Do we see a lot of goals here? I think an opportunity maybe to get involved with the Islanders at -115 on the road. This is the Hawks home opener here. What do you make of this matchup?
I mean, some of the skilled players in Chicago has me worried for New York. 'Cause like they said, they're not the team that they were. But if we're looking at recent history, in the last 3 or 4 years, this is one of the best defensively structured, low shot attempts, low high danger chances teams in the entire NHL. They're going to get it right. Sorokin looked awesome at the end of last year. I think he gets it figured out. So I think, you mean in season long, if the Sorokin is available or you can make a trade for him, I love having him and Varlamov. Yeah, like I'd say he's a buy low guy. And I think tonight, I think Chicago is still a bit of a mess as a team, even though they've got Kane and the Tyler Johnson experiment seems to be over, and Kirby Dach is playing up with him. And it'll be different next week because the coach in Chicago, that's what he does. I mean, every night it's some different lineup and you want to pull your hair out. So there are guys you can trust. But for me, I just believe in the Islanders. They haven't done it yet, but I think tonight they get it right.
People don't seem to like Jeremy Colleton. They don't seem to be a big fan of his. I don't know.
As a fantasy guy, I hate his guts.
Yeah? What's the deal? Why do you hate it? Because he's just juggling lines all the time?
Yeah, like I mean, it's every night you're wondering who's playing with who, and it's difficult to understand. I mean, like I guess Kane and DeBrincat, they're with each other all the time. There's a real chemistry there.
Yeah,
love watching those 2 guys play together. Totally makes sense. But other than that, I mean, it's the blender effect every night with these guys.
So Kirby Dach,
hate's a strong word. Hate's a strong word. I don't know him.
Hey, it is a strong word. Yeah, it's all good. I feel your pain, right? I mean, these coaches, right? They could tick you off a little bit. They rub you the wrong way. But yeah, Kirby Dach has taken over. I knew it was only a matter of time. Like the Tyler Johnson thing, like he just didn't look good. He just didn't belong between Kane and DeBrincat. You could see, right? He was slowing them down. So Dach, who had a couple goals in the first 2 games, he's on that top line. He's 3-3 on DraftKings tonight, so super appealing. He's a great price. He's not going to be on that first power play with those guys. Tyler Johnson looks like he's going to stick on that first unit for now, but at 3-3, he's a really good play tonight. Even though the Islanders have a good, I don't want to ignore New York here from an offensive standpoint. Like Chicago could bring out the best in you, right? They give up a lot of high-quality chances. Fleury's a good goalie. He's going to be boomer bust all year from a fantasy standpoint. But Kyle Palmeri is at 4-1 here today. He's playing on that top line with Anders Lee, who looks good, and Matthew Barzal, and he's also on that top power play as well. So I do like Kyle Palmeri, not from a shot prop standpoint. Probably stay away from him. But I do like him overall. 3 more games to get to, Eric. We got about 6 or 7 minutes here before we got to get teams out of here. Los Angeles and Nashville. Kings plus 120. I'm in on them. I like them, dude.
Me too.
I like this Kings squad.
That hurts. Yeah. That hurts my heart. But I really like the Kings this year. Said it in the first show against the Preds. They're still trying to figure out what's going on and who's playing with who. And I think they figure it out. But I really like this Los Angeles team. Pettersson is going to probably start. like him in net. Yeah, and with the plus 120, I'm going LA to win that one.
Yeah, I like Peterson in net too. Elvis and Peterson probably, and then those are two goalies. We'll recap here quickly at the very end, but I like the Kings. Victor Arvidsson, right? Little I don't know, revenge. We talked about Kopitar, how good Kopitar has looked this season with Dustin Brown, but Arvidsson too. In the first two games, Eric, the guy's got a goal and assist and 10 shots. He had 5 shots in each of his first 2 games. He's going to shoot the puck a lot all year long.
Yeah, to me, if you're making a line, you wish that Brown and Kopitar and even Arvidsson were a little bit younger. But it's literally a perfect combination of skill, speed, forechecking, vision. That line is unbelievable. I feel like I was to create a near perfect line, it would probably be those 3 guys.
Yeah, it should be a fun coming home party for Victor Arvidsson here tonight. Dustin Brown, the old reliable, right? I kind of forgot about him. I honestly did forget about him. It was like 30 minutes before the game the other night against Vegas, and I was like, oh yeah, Dustin Brown. Like, this guy loves to shoot. He's usually around plus money. 2.5, put him on your short list, people. 7 shots in his first 2 games, 4 in game 1, 3 in the second game, and Arvidsson at 2.5, either or with one of those guys. So we like the Kings to beat the Preds. Winnipeg and Minnesota here tonight. This is almost a coin flip game in terms of Vegas. I'm seeing the odds now at minus 149 for Minnesota, plus 134 for the Jets. I have backed the Jets in their first 2 road games against the Ducks and against the Sharks, and I lost. Not great, and I lost. So I'm not going to back these guys tonight. Watch them win. I don't think I'm going to pick a side here at all, but you know me. I got to get involved with Ehlers and Connor. They kind of let me down the last game, but the shot attempts were there. And then on the other side, you can go Kaprizov if you want. But what do you make of this game?
Yeah, I think Kyle Connor's in line for a massive year. I just believe that. I feel it in my heart. And I when you watch him play, like he just explodes off the screen. The guy's an unbelievable player. But I'm still a Minnesota guy. I like Minnesota. I like the defense. I like the goaltending. And Winnipeg hasn't got it figured out offensively tonight yet. So I would go Minnesota to win this one.
Okay. And then the final game of the night, Anaheim and Edmonton. It's the most lopsided game on paper, even though the Ducks do have a couple wins so far this season. I don't really think they had any business winning last night, but John Gibson is an absolute beast, so he stole them 2 games, but Gibson's not going to get the start here on a back-to-back game. The Oilers are just massive favorites here tonight. What do I got them at? Minus 225. That's going to creep up to minus 250. I think you could take them on the puck line. Again, I don't love puck line bets, but I think you can. Connor McDavid to score 1 point tonight is minus 400. This is ridiculous. To score 2 points, he's minus 140. To score 3 points, he's plus 400. I don't think we can give that bet out on an 11-game slate.
3
these
points.
Guys are going to be.
If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him. But I'm not doing that.
Of course. These guys are going to be super chalky here tonight from a DraftKings standpoint. McDavid is 9-2, and then McKinnon is 8-3. So there's a massive drop-off at wing. Draisaitl's 8-3, and then Ovechkin's 8. So I don't know. You can play them if you want. Even on 11-game slate, they will probably get an ownership over 30% here tonight. I think you can play them and just try to get unique and try to find some value over at ftndaily.com with my value article. We've given a couple guys out here tonight so far, rolling through the slate where there's some value. There's some value in San Jose. There's some value with Chicago. I think with the Islanders, there's some value even in Vancouver. Just to get involved with some of those guys. Certainly Sam Bennett is definitely very valuable here tonight inside a top 6 role with the Panthers. But I think the one Edmonton guy here, there's ways to get unique here with the Oilers. You could play Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's 4-2. He's extremely affordable. You can drop to that second line. Hyman is 5-1. He's got a goal and 5 shots in his first 2 games with the Oilers. He gets on that power play, and that Draisaitl and McDavid are playing the entire power play. So he's been playing with some good guys. But how about Jessie Puliarvi? A bit of a breakout season from him last year, Eric, with 15 goals. And now he's got goals in back-to-back games. He's got 4 points and 7 shots. He's 5'7". What do you think about him?
It's a great price. I think we talked about him a little bit, saying like this is a guy to keep an eye on in season long, especially DFS at that price. But where he's going to play, and let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago he was drafted in the first round. This guy has every skill imaginable offensively. He's got a big body. He can really shoot the puck, and he's starting to get his confidence and feel comfortable playing in North American style. love Puliarvi as a player, especially where he's playing and how he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it just takes a little bit for some of these guys, right?
It does.
Was a top pick. It was a top pick, and he looked better than Laine in the World Junior Championships playing for Finland. He looked like the better player. I knew that he wasn't going to get drafted ahead of him, but he was the better player in that tournament. Okay, let's recap here. What do you got? What's on your board? You already made the Colorado bet. What else do you got on your board here tonight?
Yep, made the Colorado. I got Kings. I got Blue Jackets. What else do I have? I'm trying to think of the other one I did. It definitely wasn't Buffalo, I can tell you that. And Florida. Those are the ones that I really like tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Vancouver. I like Florida. I like LA.
And New Jersey.
I got it. New Jersey. And I got to take the Islanders there. So there's 5 games. I think my favorite, honestly, is Florida, Vancouver, LA. But yeah, New Jersey, with Seattle in a tough spot in the back-to-back. I think the Islanders bounce back here tonight. I wonder about the over in that game because I'm just like the quality of chances that the Islanders are giving up. It's really abnormal for that to happen. Maybe they tighten up a little bit, but the Hawks do have some high-powered offensive players. For upsets, if you are looking for, we give you Florida. Neither of us think it's really that big of an upset. Florida's an upset. LA's an upset, apparently, according to Vegas. But San Jose, I think, is in play. I like the under in that game, Montreal and San Jose, under 6. I lean to the under between Dallas and Pittsburgh as well. If you can get that at 6, I like the under there. I think you can take the Oilers on the puck line if you want to win by a couple goals here. Anaheim off that back-to-back. And as much as Anaheim has had a couple wins here, it really has been Gibson. They've given up a ton of quality chances, high-danger chances. Of looking at natural stat trick today, they're among the leaders in giving up high-quality chances, and nobody does it better than Edmonton, especially the league's best power play in each of the past 2 seasons. From a shot prop standpoint here tonight, Sam Bennett at 2.5, Dustin Brown at 2.5, Victor Arvidsson at 2.5, Elias Pettersson at 2.5, Cole Caulfield at 2.5, Ehlers and Connor, both of these guys at 2.5. I think that's it. I don't want to give too many here just to confuse people with the shot props, but those are kind of my guys. I think you can go really just start with Bennett. Let's continue to ride this guy out. He's averaging 4 shots per game in 17 games with the Florida Panthers. He's been an absolute beast with the Panthers. And then from a DFS standpoint, if you're stacking, I think Vancouver is interesting. Panthers we like. The Devils we like. You like the Avs. I think we could see a lot of goals between Colorado and Washington here tonight. The Edmonton Oilers, but get unique with maybe the second line with Puliarvi, with Hyman, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And then, I think the Islanders. I think the Islanders tonight. I think we can get involved with the Islanders. And then Columbus, right? Man,
Columbus, I love the Voracek line style. That's my DFS stack for tonight.
That's it. There's going to be a whole lot more over at FTNBets.com and our bet tracker. Use that promo code NHL. You're watching here. You get that question, just leave it there. Even if you're watching the replay, I'll circle back before puck drop. Again, guys, just be patient with us here. This is a new show. We'll get a solid structure here. This is a massive slate here tonight. So hopefully we can help you out here with some picks at the end of the show. But again, everything will be in the bet tracker. And you want to be part of the FTN fam, use that promo code NHL. FTNBets.com/pricing, FTNDaily.com/pricing. Get in our Discord channels. We'll have a lot of content for you over at FTN today. Eric, thanks so much. Always a pleasure, dude. Enjoy watching those 11 games. You get some sleep because we're back at it on Thursday. A shout out to producer Tino as well, who, by the way, won a parlay with some NHL picks. So hopefully we can continue that as well. We got to get him involved in the show. He's not a huge hockey guy, but he's a couple sprinkling some bets here and there. So we'll have him a part of the show as well. Thanks to everybody for taking the time. Subscribe, rate, review, send that screenshot over meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. We appreciate you. Enjoy the pucks. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.